Hi there, this is Jim, your Keys bartender, a Keys bartender. We did this before, didn't we? I wanted to describe me as a Keys bartender, not as the Keys bartender, which that little preposition there means a lot, depending on someone's ego and shit like that. Well, it's Christmas week here in Keys, the Florida Keys, and in Key Largo. We got everything lit up and ready to go. We're getting ready. The weather's typical of the Florida Keys. I guess we're in the 60s, 70s right now. It's beautiful. I'm getting ready for my surgery coming up on the 28th of this month to get a tumor removed from my parotid gland. And it has been a journey. If you are an avid listener, you'll understand I had 10 different dates. Actually, 11 different dates. And yeah, it's a whole bunch of things. COVID got canceled over COVID, and then the original doctor had a medical emergency. I'm not that hyper narcissistic. I'm slightly narcissistic, I think, that I think it's all about me. I realize a lot of these reschedulings are due with COVID, but some of them haven't been. Some have just been scheduling that snafus, not on my part. So I'm less than a week away. It'll be 5-6 days from now. I'll be having my surgery, and everyone's saying, yeah, you're probably not going to be doing any podcasting that day. Well, I'm going to try my best. I'm going to bring my phone with me and my headset so I can record me coming out. If I'm going to struggle to do that, just to be real, so you can hear me. It'll sound like that YouTube video, David After Dentist. If I can get to my phone, that would be awesome. I'll be able to play it on the show. I'll use it as a sound effect. But it is Christmas. You can tell there's a lot of people coming into town for considering the situation down here in South Florida with COVID-19. And some people are getting frayed. Their nerves are getting really frayed. So it was a really interesting situation last night. We had a crowded bar. Let's say, imagine a crowded bar in Key Largo. Christmas week. Coming up. The week before Christmas. Christmas is on Friday. I think it's Friday. Christmas is on Friday. And it's Monday night. And it's about an hour and a half before closing. Maybe an hour and 15 minutes. I'm standing at the end of the bar, away from where the action is taking place, and one of my co-workers is standing a little closer to the kitchen area, which is right at the end of the bar, and at the opposite end of the bar, a noise comes up. I'm going to try to recreate it, but just imagine the magnitude going up. It just fills the room. It is, get your fucking mask on. And it was huge, what I heard. And my co-worker heard this loud male voice coming, screaming, get your fucking mask on. And they looked right at me. I looked over, I seen these two men coming in. And they may have taken their mask off too early for someone's liking, but it wasn't me that said that. Because as I looked at the little corner, I'd seen someone red face, looked very angry, get up, and was leaving with his partner. So someone got really angry, yelling at these two after speaking with them, two very nice guys, and I was shocked. But the funniest reaction was my coworker looking at me, coworker manager, was looking at me, and she was accusatory and goes, what just happened? And I go, she's looking at me like, I said, do you think I fucking said that? And so this just happened. These guys are in shock. The guy's leaving who just yelled. And my coworker's looking at me saying like, "Oh wow, why'd you say that?" And I'm like, "You fucking think I talked to a customer like that? Out of the blue?" I'm like, "I've lost it sometimes, but I've never lost it like that. Especially since I'm not drinking anymore." And yes, it's 1 year, the 1 year anniversary, December 19th, of me not having a drink. But I'm not saying it. I mean, I still get angry and shit like that. And sometimes people think I'm moodier since I don't drink. But I know I got mean when I was drinking my brown liquor, bourbon. So I had to go. We made nice to the two guys that were coming in. They were men a little, slightly older than me, and they took it all in good. They had good sentiments about it. They realized they were like they realized the restaurant didn't have anything to do with that. That you can't control your customers, and they actually kind of knew the guy, and we knew the two men that were yelled at or castigated by one of our fellow patrons were friends of a regular of ours. And it was very interesting. But out of all that, the funniest thing was just thinking, wow, my coworker thought I would actually yell, and this filled the bar area. It's a crowded bar, and all you heard was that voice. And on the night before, I'll tell you another story. It's Sunday night. There's two couples left in the bar, a couple from Dallas, and another couple, I forget where they're from. But it's about a half hour after we closed. They're hanging out, having a drink with each other, and they're talking to me. And all of a sudden, they see right in front of our restaurant, there's a bike path. And if you're familiar with the Florida Keys, let me set the tone for you. There's two main roads, 2-lane highways in this part of Key Largo, two lanes going north and two going south. We're on the northbound side, or the ocean side of Route 1. And there's a bike path around 7 feet in from the road. And it's dark, it's 9:30, and there's a group of 10 people running in unison, each holding a post for holding one of those big red and white tents, awnings. And it took me about 3 seconds to realize that's the awning from about a block and a half down from us on Route 1 from the local produce stand. And I started putting two and two together. I said, well, there's a lot of visitors in town. And this is what I came to the conclusion. I see 8 people running, holding posts, running in unison down the street, kind of laughing. And there's 2 people underneath the tent just recording it with their phones. And what I saw was 10 drunk people running with a tent down there in perfect unison, let's say, perfect unison, as a prank. Stupid white people shit. That's what I call it. Hey, we're drunk. Let's steal a tent and run down and move it. I thought it was a prank. So I told the friend of mine, the owner at the restaurant, that I was going to chase him down the street. And one of the people that were hanging at the bar just decided to come along and give me a little backup. And they go, hey, what are you guys doing? What are you doing with that tent? Blah, 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 blah. And they're just ignoring me for some reason, just going their merry way. So they were half a block down, so I start running. And as I'm chasing them, I start saying, wow, these people kind of look familiar. And then I get up to the area that they're running to, and there's already another tent, and there's lights, and there's a production going on. Well, these people don't look like they're stealing a tent or anything like that. It looks like they're resetting up, and it looks like they're setting up the produce stand there. That's when I put 2 and 2 together. This wasn't a stupid white people prank. It was a bunch of Mexicans who run the fruit stand or produce stand. They were moving the stand at night so as not to interrupt their business. Now, obviously, there's going to be people that in the neighborhood, the people that go there, People are going to show up and are going to say, hey, there's no fruit stand there the next day. And because the landlord, probably they had a disagreement with the landlord, they probably don't have a new sign that says we're 3 blocks down or 4 blocks down, the other, further south. And so I almost chased down. I thought I was breaking up a big tent heist going on in Key Largo, but I wish I had recorded it. Matter of fact, I probably can get the video from them. I wonder if I can ask. That's what I'm going to do today. I have a couple errands I have to run. Let's see, am I still recording it? I have a couple errands I have to run. I hope I can get this done. So, that was the eventful stuff at the bar. There was a lot of nice people in this week. We had, I made some new friends. This woman that owns a bar down at mile marker 69. I'm going to probably approach her about doing a podcast with her boyfriend or husband. I forget the boyfriend's name. Her name is Dee. And I know she's a fan of Seinfeld. Oh, no, The Office. She's probably, if you're a fan of The Office, probably a fan of Seinfeld. But she's a fan of The Office and Always Sunny in Philadelphia. So when I hear Dee, I think Sweet Dee. And she's a beautiful lady. And then I had another couple come in last night. It was Dan and Elizabeth, who live right around the corner. I love meeting people, local, not over visitor. I love visitors and things like that. But when a nice group comes in and you just click with certain customers and people that are listening who are in the business, restaurant business. I'm sure it works at any place where you get regular customers coming in. Whenever you hit it off with someone, you certainly hope that they come back again. And then I have my other regulars, Sherry and Rob and things like that. I'm not going to say the name of the person that did the yelling. I think they're going to probably repair their relationship with us. The one that said, put your fucking mask on. But, a lot of people's have been frayed with COVID-19. And I noticed that a lot of people are coming back. So we also have the snowbirds coming in. I have my friends Steve and brother Greg. They're from the Adirondacks in New York. They come down for a couple months. They're fun guys, and so now we have the couple Dan and Elizabeth. We hope to see them again soon. Rob and Sherry, Sweet Dee and her boyfriend. So just all we need. We're not a very big place, the Catch Restaurant, but we're a popular place in Key Largo. We have our locals crowd, and then we also get the tourists that come in. Because the other places, our place has a little character in it, and I think we have character from the people that work there. And I know that doesn't. You cannot control. Think of the nicest restaurants there are out there. You cannot control what the patrons do sometimes. If they go and do something, you can only respond after the fact. So that when that first comment was made, the only comment that was made, it was over. So that was successful. I wish it wasn't said at all. And I explained it, gentlemen, even though I believe that if, there is a mask, they ask people when they go into closed places in Monroe County, especially private businesses, to please wear a mask. And we realize restaurants aren't, because of our governor, we're not able, there's no fines for people not wearing masks, but a business can require people to wear a mask in order for them to conduct business. Which that's what people don't understand. They say, I have the freedom. Yes, you have the freedom outside. But when you go into a private business, I'll explain this to them once, if they require a mask, even if there was no COVID, remember, no shoes, no shirt, no service. You can do that because it's not discriminatory as long as you're not discriminating against someone on a base on race or lifestyle or religion. And I'm sure there's other ones. But as long as you're not discriminating on that, you just say, hey, listen, we have these basic requirements, and right now we call them hygiene requirements. Now, you don't necessarily agree with that, but that's the business owner's prerogative, and your prerogative is you can go someplace else that doesn't require it. But remember, when a business that decides to believe that you don't need masks to protect your customers, they may not believe that you need to wash your hands or refrigerate properly or heat the food up to the proper temperature. So if someone disallows one hygienic procedure, maybe washing hands after you use the bathroom, or maybe not having poultry separate or shellfish, think about that. If the place doesn't really care about the customers or about their employees, how certain are you when you have a shellfish allergy that the fried food isn't fried in oil that was used to fry shellfish? Or you have a nut allergy or anything like that, or the hygiene principles, right? Because one preference to avoid a hygienic principle can create the evidentiary, a rational thought that if they don't follow one rule, they will probably not likely follow another. So people that are concerned about wiping down tables and things like that will be concerned about the other things in the kitchen. There you go. That's something for you to think about. If you think, well, I like going to this place because they don't worry about the mask, they don't worry about wiping the tables down. I haven't seen that guy wash their hands ever. Well, there you go. You should be doing pretty well. You'll probably think in your head, well, as long as they get exposed to as much germs, I'll be okay. You could probably end up, you think in your head, I could probably end up surviving one of those Russian political poisoning attempts. Well, let's see how long that lasts. Well, we do have a busy week coming up here. Today, I had a new piece of furniture delivered. We had ordered a couple months ago, like 3-4 months ago. We finally got the chair back. Yep, COVID-19, stuff like that. We were getting a new living room set because you ever see those couches when they start getting saggy and you think, how long are you gonna be able to hold on to this sucker? That couch. How uncomfortable can you let your couch become before you need to get another one? And for me, I think I'm 57 years old. This is the second couch I bought. But then again, I always was like second-hand person. I know. How can you do that, Jim? I wasn't second-hand for my bed, though. That's the one, well, I've done it maybe 1 or 2 times, but almost every time I needed a new bed, I got a brand new bed. Because, think about it. How much time do you spend in your bed? Now, I struggle to get my 7 hours. Now, sometimes it takes about 9 hours for me to get 7 hours, meaning that I get up and I pee, and then it takes me a while to go back to sleep. Today I got 7 hours. I feel great. If I could do the same again tomorrow in a couple days, I'll be right and ready for that surgery on Monday. So I'm looking forward to that. And I have some cooking to do for my family on Christmas. I just bought a big-ass prime rib what I got in the fridge. And I got 5 different recommendations from people on which way to cook it. And I am ready. I think I'm ready. Are you ready for Christmas? I don't know. Or Hanukkah, whatever. I have most of the things I need to purchase. I needed to purchase. I know I had to get some other stuff, perhaps. And I have some things to do for my surgery, and that's about it. I'm going to take a brief break right now. That's just in case we can do I can insert a commercial. I'm going to try to do that at around 20 minutes or whatever I can do it. But I'm going to take a little break and I'll be right back. Thank you. Hi, we're back. And I think one of the first times I'm able to do that in a show and be able to follow this train of thought. I don't know if it's the stress of worrying about the surgery or things like that, but I've been having a hard time following one idea. And you would, if you go back to one of my episodes, not one of the lost episodes, because the lost episodes are from months ago and things like that. But I think it was episode 358 or 357, and this is episode 359, I think. That I would start a subject. I was one time, one of the topics I talked about, I started mentioning one of the friends of mine and friends of the show, Ted, who's originally from New Jersey, who listens to shows regularly, and I started talking to him. I was following him. I was mentioning something about him, and then it lit on to another, or reminded me of another subject, and it took me away to mention what I wanted to say about Ted. And Ted said he listens to the show all the time, and it's about 6 months ago, or maybe, no, it wasn't 6 months ago, because, yeah, it could have been 6 months ago when we just got back from COVID shutdown. Ted mentioned, while listening to podcasts, he says, wow, I have a really big problem with the audio. It's real low, and it's all on the episodes. And I said, really? I think it may be a setting on your app, because I understand I've done shows, and don't get me wrong, I make a lot of mistakes. I'm not poo-pooing the idea that I made a mistake and screwed up the audio, because I could do that really easy. But there's a possibility that you set the sound. It's just locked in on that podcast, or one of your preferences. Because if I showed them on, for just pick one episode and I show them on Spotify or show them on iTunes or Google, this is what it sounds like. So that's what I always think. So getting back to that, I had several things, and I am not necessarily the most technical person involved, but I do try to work things out. And I have been doing a podcast for it's going on. It'll be next month. I'll be in my 4th year, or April will be my 5th year, April 14th or 7th. And I think I've done pretty good. And right before we did the lockdown, I purchased my first real smart TV, and I started linking it up to my home automation. It took quite a while, because not all of them jibe well, and I may have, when they say what series is it and things like that, and you have to get the latest series or sort of the year before, and it doesn't link up as well, and you got a Samsung and you're trying to link up to Alexa and shit like that. But eventually, if you do the right thing, you download the right app and stuff like that, everything works without bringing anybody else in. And I do have it working. But the one thing, there was an application for streaming service. I don't want to do an advertisement for them online, but my service provider, a big company with 3 letters in its name, I wasn't getting a confirmation email. And in order to download the application for the streaming service that's included in my package, I had to hit the acknowledgement on the email, and I had to call them and say, listen, I'm not getting any emails from you, but I'm getting emails from the satellite provider who I purchase through you. Now, even more if you don't know who I'm talking about, but it doesn't really matter. It's not pertinent to the thing. I get the associated company, the sub company, they send me emails to my email account. You're the only guys that don't send it to me. The primary. I don't get any emails from you. And they said, well, we go over, I talked to the first associate. And they were from, it sounded like they had a slight accent, but I don't weigh one person from the other. I don't care if they're stateside or in India. Like I said, you're just doing your job. Accept it. So that person, they looked at it and they said, oh, I'm going to send you an email. And I said, I didn't get an email. And they said, I'm gonna send you one. I said, well, you should. And they go, what device are you using? What's this? And I told them, listen, I'm trying all my devices. And I checked the email. I did a search. I know how to do a search. I know how to check spam folders. I realize when you have a person that's significantly younger than me, their perception is, well, this person, that's me, doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. You know? The first time. I've been using email for over, 20 years. I do know about preferences. I know about blocking things and stuff like that. I look to see if I had a block on it. I'm going to see if they set them up in spam. I know how to do a search for content. And I put different searches in there and nothing came up. So, they read back the email and they say, oh, that's the email we have and stuff like that. We do the alphanumeric thing, Alpha, Bravo, J is in, whatever J is. Jupiter. Is Jupiter? J? Whatever. And, when you call out the email address, you say A is in Alpha, and B is in Bravo, C is in, oh God, it's a bitch. Like I said, it's a bitch getting old. So we go over the email address with the first person. So they send me to the second person. The second person comes up. They do the same thing, and we go through the email address. And I go, well, it sounds like you have it. And I make them sound it because, my last name's in it, so I didn't know if it was an N or an M. So I go Nancy or Michael, right? Because it's Nancy. And said the name's going to match my name on the the application for this particular email. So we do that. Now, this is an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes. So then they said, listen, we're going to get you someone from technical services. Technical services. Well, this is more clerical. So I have to wait 10 minutes. And I have a little revelation to say. When it comes to technology, if things aren't working well, I get very, very frustrated, like a child. And I start flipping out. I flip out. So I have to calm down. So I'm not flipping out. I am not flipping out. I'm getting better. I'm getting mellower as I get older and stuff like that. I'm just waiting. I'm waiting. I'm not getting sarcastic because I realize when they say it's sarcastic. So I wait 10, 12 minutes. And it's approaching 2 hours. And I get the person from technical and I talk to them. And we go on a minute or two talking the name. And they go, oh, I see the problem. So what's the problem? At the end of your email address, it says .com. There's 2 .coms. And he said, well, that would be wrong, wouldn't it? And they didn't detect, thank God they didn't detect the sarcasm. I don't think they detected the sarcasm. I said, thank you for spotting that. And then they said, I'll send you an email right now. And they sent me an email. Boom, boom, comes up. Yeah, 2 hours. 2 hours. Now, if they said .com, now they were looking at, I guess everyone was looking at address, and it's one of those things. 2 different people, and all these representatives I talked to when they were confirming, they confirmed the .com. Now, I can't swear that I didn't accidentally make it .com, or one of their representatives did. But it really didn't matter. At this point, it's fixed. And once they fixed that, and I reapplied for downloading the application onto my smart TV, what do you know? The email comes in. I hit confirmation, and it pops up. Not too bad. It took about 2 weeks. Yeah, one of those things. New technology. I mean, it's a new technology, but it's an old problem. Right? Clerical error. Just like that. So, we've gotten that accomplished. That was the last thing of the day, because I had tackled 2 other things. And I'm trying to recall. The first one was my screen door. The inside lock. The screen door has made it through Hurricane Irma, where roofs were ripped off and trees were brought down, stuff. The screen store is still fine. And it's probably like 15, 16 years old, maybe at least that. And, the metal's kind of faded. And metal gets fatigue on it, especially aluminum. Aluminum gets fatigue from just weathering. So the door was sticking and not staying closed right where the latch was, and it was going to be a pain in the ass. So I moved one of the part of the mechanism of the screen door in, and it started sticking. And I had just taken care of some other task, which I momentarily forgot. And I was feeling quite confident in myself. Oh, I was hooking up my smart plugs. I just linked it all together. Right? It was the day before I was fixing it. On Sunday morning, I'm fixing it. Sunday morning, I'm fixing it. And I just accomplished this home automation success, and I was quite proud of myself. And I come up to the door, and it's about 10 minutes before I go to work, and the door jammed again, the screen door. And I just yanked on it, and all of a sudden, fucking the whole mechanism inside the door just shattered. Just broke apart the metal. Listen, I wasn't proud of myself. I wasn't proud of myself. It's just it was another noise. It was like, great, another Sunday morning thing. So I had gone to the hardware store, and we have a great hardware store, and it's literally a block and a half away. I'm in a small town, and I'm in one of the best small hardware stores I've ever been to. Because I was there. Two guys came up and helped me and pointed out the thing I needed. I just needed what mechanism I needed for the lock and blah, 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 blah. And they hooked me up, and I was back home. And don't you know, within 6 minutes, the door is right as rain. Yes. It looks like, oh shit, man, this guy, it looked like I could be one of those guys doing a YouTube thing. Oh, don't worry about it. Just take this part off, blah, 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 and do this, take this handle off, and here's your door. You have a new lock on your door. Yeah, it literally took me about 30 seconds to put those screws in. So I had all that stuff accomplished, and then I had the major my service carrier. I have that addressed, and I have the surgery, and now I'm working on getting my doctor to. I hope can get the surgical clearance for me, because for some reason I got a call from the surgical coordinator for the surgeon. They said, "Oh, the verbiage on the letter that you sent." And I said, "I didn't send it to you. The doctor's office sent." Well, it didn't specifically clear you for surgery. It didn't say it's clear for surgery. It just said a bunch of things, and it didn't say, with all the tests we take, James Horan is clear for surgery. He didn't say that. So I had to contact the doctor. Oh, I think I may have gotten an email for that. But it looks like I might have it now. And I was dealing with someone else, and I thought that was interesting. This is before I go to work, talking about frustration. They said, "Listen, we got to get your payment." And it was for part of the medical procedure I have to do, and they sent me an email, and I'm thinking, oh, it's going to be a portal, and I can put my payment information in. Well, what they sent me was a PDF file. Now, we talked about, I don't know if I mentioned, I got a CD for a gift, and I do not have a CD player anymore. I have eschewed buying, when I was a young lad, I listened to the radio and stuff like that, but I wasn't big into buying records. I didn't have a turntable. My sister had a turntable and all that stuff, but I didn't have a turntable. So I went right into the cassette tape, because I didn't really worry about sound quality and stuff like that. So I just made cassette tapes when they became available. Cassettes. Because you could be 30 minutes, they had 60 minutes, they had 90 minutes. Oh, man. And you could put them on and say, I thought that was the greatest thing in the world. But when CDs came around, if I had a CD player in my car, I got a couple of those and stuff like that. I never really got into purchasing or accumulating CDs. I didn't want to have
A lot of that. I did buy a lot of books, but CDs, that's not one of them. So I've had a couple, these music boom boxes would have CD players on it, but I had a couple of them. And as a matter of fact, a couple girls made me mixtapes and stuff like that. It was always a tape. And I guess I missed the mix CD thing where someone made a CD for me. I think people, well, now they are. I guess this is meditation CD. I guess that meditation thing was made in someone's, and they made a meditation. So that's I wonder if they're sending me a subliminal message. You know what? While I'm talking about it, I'm thinking, wow, I got to listen to the CD. You don't know what's on it. Better listen to it privately. No, I'm sure they wouldn't do it because then I could play it in front of my wife, and it probably wouldn't. I would get in a lot of trouble, and the person that gave it to me would get in a lot of trouble. But I'll do that later. So today, I don't think I'm having a problem with. I'm able to follow lines. I have my successes with technology. I might have that surgical clearance letter. Today, I have to go into the hospital and do my. You are listeners. You're aware that I work when someone says, "Oh, is this the only job you have?" When I'm bartending, I said, "No, I work at a hospital." They said, "What are you?" I said, "Well, I'm an optic surgeon." No. I say I'm a spin instructor at a wellness center in a hospital, but I'm employed by a hospital. And I have to go in today around 1 o'clock and they have a new system for CPR. They use an automated system. And you do it, instead of bringing an instructor in, they have one that's set up with a laptop, I guess a laptop or some kind of workstation, and you do all the training is done remotely, or I follow this automated system and do it. And once I get a passing grade, I'm qualified for the next. I think I had to do it every 6 months, which I'm fine with that. Having a skill like saving someone is great. It's amazing though; they've changed so many. I think I've been taking for 12 years. I've doing the formal training for CPR. Had my first one done by the Red Cross, and now I guess someone not. Then I have maybe another 8 or 10 certifications. They changed the thing. It used to be compressions where you use both hands on the sternum, or on the chest, pushing down, and then the rescue breathing. But now they got rid of it. It's all compression right now. So luckily, that's a good thing for someone like me who has a problem remembering things. And like I said, I don't think it has anything to do with Alzheimer's. I think when you have to remember a lot of things, and if you're not using them all the time, your short-term memory dumps it into, puts it way back in the queue in your brain and in line, and then only the stuff you have to remember, like I can remember drinks and things like that. But there are some drinks I don't remember. But CPR, I know when I do CPR, I think of Staying Alive by the Bee Gees, because that's a beat that you're supposed to use when you're doing staying alive. Not exactly in the same beat, because the person you're trying to save, you're not saying, hey, if they come back and says, I think you were a little bad on that staying alive. You missed the thing. I could tell by the way you use your walk. You're a woman's man. No time to talk. I think that I may have just made up those words. But yeah, I had that busy week. I have that tomorrow, and then Wednesday I have my COVID test for my surgery, and I got to pass that COVID test. Once I pass that COVID test, I'm in the clear for Monday. I get that done. I've been practicing safe distancing principles, washing my hands, covering my face, and I hope that works out. But we're going to do several shows. Tomorrow I have a lot of free time, I think. I only have to do the COVID test and probably have to do a couple things, running errands for my family, do a little shopping. That's always fun. And then I'm working Wednesday night. And if I have listeners in Key Largo, let's come in. Let's do our. No, wait. I'm not working tomorrow night. I think that may be it. But you can still come into Key Largo. If you don't see me and the bar after Monday, or whenever I get my results back, for about 10 days to 2 weeks, that's a good sign. That means the operation went off and I won't have to talk about it anymore. Well, I'd like to thank everyone for listening. And if you are listening, please like us on Facebook. That's the Keys Bartender page. Follow us on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. Follow us on Twitter, whatever you prefer. Share us with your friends. And this is what I like to ask. I don't do a lot of commercials. Eventually, I'm going to do commercials. The things that commercials are going to allow me to do once I get revenue, which I can do because I'm kind of lazy and I have a problem with self-worth. And I'm thinking, oh, well, who the hell wants to invest in me? But I'm going to probably approach local people. Probably makes sense. Call the Keys Bartender. Why not promote locally? And we are a tourist destination. I'll do that. Probably go to Tourism Development Council if they'll have me because of explicit content. Maybe not. But maybe, I'm sure the liquor companies, they don't mind as much. They shouldn't. That'd be crazy. Oh, we do sell liquor, but we don't want you saying butt plug or vagina or tits, right? They have a problem with that? No, they shouldn't. I'm not saying you shouldn't have a problem with that. You shouldn't be prudish, an alcohol company. And maybe I'm trying to think of something else, maybe like Adam and Eve sex shop, maybe a bed thing, because people, no matter what kind of, if you use explicit language, you have to buy beds too. So why not that? But the best Christmas present until I start getting the sponsors, which I want to get my sponsors, and I'll do it in time. I'll try to make the advertising as entertaining as possible, and then I'll reduce the amount of commercials mid-reel. So if I don't have to do mid-reel, those breaks sometimes when it got like 30 seconds of commercials. I apologize for that, but that's just increased the revenue, and it pays. I still don't make enough money to really pay for what I pay in distribution. But once I get sponsorship, I can do that. And then I can get a producer. And when I say producer, I need someone to edit, someone listen to the sound, someone handle the promotions, and things like that. Hopefully I can get some young fellow or lady to, or older, but that's adept to be able to do that. I am looking for that. And if you are interested in becoming a producer for the show, it probably works best if you're local. But then again, you don't have to be. But what I was going to ask in that whole thing, I was going roundabout, and I remembered, yes, once again, I remembered, is that try to get as many, if you can, pass it on to people. I want to get as many listens as possible. The more listens I have, the easier it is for me to approach a sponsor. And I do believe that the more exposure the show gets, the more regular listeners we get. And I always push that in. Share it with your friends, do that. And I'm not trying to hog anything. I'm just trying to do whatever I can do to increase the revenue right now is actually going to go into the quality. And eventually my goal is for 2021 with the vaccines out and stuff like that is to go back and do shows from the bar and have entertainment and turn it into something. And I will not make it, I try not to make it boring. There's a lot of interesting, oh my God, I got to frag myself. There's a lot of interesting people down here. Try to make it exciting. And if they're on if someone's on the show, they got to play ball. When I say play ball, not be offended, right? That's the point of the thing. It's a bar. If you're easily offended, what the fuck are you doing in a bar? But listen, share it. That'll be the greatest Christmas present for me. If you can share it, send it to your friends. I'd like to say hi to everyone, even in the Russian Federation, in India. What other countries? And throughout the United States. I love my listeners all across the United States, all across the world. Thank you. And I will have some more episodes coming to you this week, tomorrow, and Thursday. I have a really free day on Thursday. I'll probably have like five episodes coming this week, and then hopefully if I get that surgery I've been looking for, I'm gonna probably be close to make 40 episodes. Who knows? Do 2 episodes a day, 1 episode a day, probably another 15 episodes in 10 days and 2 weeks. And then we'll have I hope I'm healed enough where I'm able to do the New Year's show. You shouldn't spend your New Year's with us, but I'll do my New Year's prediction for 2021. We'll eventually have, it'll probably be a while. I'm going to get someone to do I have the excerpts from Melania Trump's new book coming out. Be the best. Be best. Be best. She's not really big into prepositions. So, be best. Okay. Now you be the best. Share that. Take care. And if you don't listen to an episode before Christmas, have a Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Happy 4th or 5th day of Hanukkah. Take care. God bless. And I'll talk to you later. Here we are signing off.